Hello guys, my name is TheRussianBadger, and for some reason I got that stomach bug, whatever that gastrointestinal flu that's going around. I happen to have contracted it. I don't know if I ate too much shrimp or whatever it was. It's the virus that basically makes you throw up 3 days nonstop. It's pretty terrible. But this first guy over here, you better chickity check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. And the second guy, he doesn't have much more hope than that first guy. And that's it. Okay, that's what it immediately reminds me of. Do you guys remember the show? I hate to condemn MTV, but I don't think MTV is a very good TV network, if you ask me. I don't think a lot of you would be saying, oh yes, my children, once they're born, I want them to be watching that television station. MTV all the way, for America's future. That's probably not what you guys say. But of all of the shows that I've ever watched on MTV, there's one that I definitely will always remember, and that is Robin Big. Do you guys remember that show? Robin Big? You know, it's Rob Dyrdek. He's that, or Dyrdek, I'm not exactly sure on the pronunciation, but he's a professional skateboarder, and he's got this gigantic, huge black bodyguard that's 300 or 400 pounds, and they call him Big. And in one episode, Rob gets this net gun. And it's like this gigantic net gun that looks like a huge black cup. Just like this cup, it's almost like, it looks like a mug, almost. And it fires out this net, and I guess it hurts a little bit, but this is what, the 40 mil shotgun always reminds me of a net gun. And you see, like, people will randomly come into his house that he knows, like his friends will show up at his house, so he'll just be like, I don't recognize the dude right here, and he'll get him with the net gun. It's fairly humorous. I don't know if it's on YouTube, or I'm sure you guys can find it if you really look for it, but that's what always, I'm always reminded of the net gun as soon as I use the 40 mil shotgun, which I use pretty frequently throughout the duration of this video, but oh man, that stomach flu so bad though. I'm just glad that I can't transmit it like through a video. That would be, imagine the world. Imagine if we lived in a world like that. And Milos, what are you doing, man? I don't recognize the dude right here. I don't know why he, just that path in general. Like, Bad Company 2 has been out for how long? And that path in general is just it's a death sentence. Just never ever go up that path. Everybody's hiding behind a rock up here. They have more cover than you do. They're probably clipping off of something. And you're just going to get shot in the face. Like, yeah, when I say, don't do it, young blood, don't ever, ever, ever go up that trail, ever. And okay, I tried the 40 mil shotgun, and it didn't really work from that distance. And I always find it humorous. I don't know how you can find it not humorous. Just, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and arm this MCON. Oh, bush monster! Miss the knife is not exactly going to work from that range. And I decided, okay, so there's nobody here. Might as well look around the corner, and yet again, just nobody there. So I decided there's no better strategy than just waiting with a 40 mil shotgun on the assault rifle. It's pretty bulletproof if you ask me. It's, despite the fact that I end up getting hit by a bush monster with C4 that he probably tossed from a mile away, because you can do that in Bad Company 2. But I wanted to say, you have to admit, it's pretty humorous how you can arm objectives in Bad Company 2. Just, I'm running sporadically around in a circle like a 3-year-old with crayons in his hair, and I'm still somehow arming an advanced explosive device that's supposed to blow up like a communication station. Okay, that makes total logical sense. And I totally should have brought some water over here. Now I can't stop. The cough is getting to me. But yet again, like I said, in Bad Company 2, it's so advantageous to lurk. Throughout this entire game, if you can find, like, I'm thinking about certain areas and certain maps in Bad Company 2 that are so advantageous in terms of, if you find the right lurking spot, you can do so much damage. And there's so many people that just don't expect you to be there. Oh, man, that is just getting, you guys probably think that I'm like a stoner now, or that I smoke copious amounts of weed or like tobacco, or this is terrible. My reputation as a good upstanding citizen is ruined. But like I said, I am so glad that some of these lurk spots, that guy was going to get me. Like, you think from that distance, oftentimes you can usually gauge, okay, I've got the upper hand in this engagement and I'm totally going to slaughter this guy, or I better back down right meow before you get your face shot off. And in that instance, it was more so Okay, I guess his accuracy is way better than I had anticipated. Milos! Oh, that's the wrong route yet again. Milos tried that route a second time, and like I said previously, that's the worst place to go. It rarely ever does anything good for you. If you want to do a really wide flank, you're going to have to go from the water side, and oftentimes you get picked up by somebody coming out of the spawn anyways. I'm not exactly sure what that gentleman was doing with the AT4, or excuse me, the ATV Off-Road Fury 2 that we don't get. I'm so excited. I am so excited for the motorcycle in Endgame. I'm so excited. Just like the last video, I'm still trying to sort of play through on my brain how CTF is going to work, or if it's just going to be, okay, here's 25 of the 32 support players on one team in a 64-player server, and they all have C4 directly on the flag. So I'm not sure about the exact dynamics of how exactly it's going to work, because I think to myself, there are so many safeguards and there are so many ways to protect stationary positions, especially in Battlefield 3. I don't know how CTF is going to work. I mean, just think about it. Like, you've got explosives, like you've got SMAs, but I could definitely argue SMAs are not that lethal. Like, they're not a Carl Gustav like they are in Bad Company 2. But okay, you've got bipods. Anybody that's bipoded has laser beam accuracy with bullets that do a lot of damage from LMGs. Like I said, explosives, claymores, C4, tanks, any kind of mounted machine gun. On like looking directly at a flag, you're gonna have an extremely hard time trying to get to that thing. And I don't recognize it. Milos right in the face. I don't recognize this dude right here. And somebody conveniently just blew up in the corner of this building, which is just dandy if you ask me. And yet again, like running around like a little toddler with crayons, I can somehow arm an advanced explosive device. Because that totally makes sense. And you can tell, they know I'm here, but they don't know exactly where I am. I missed the first time. I think he ran around. I go for the grenade, and it just turns out that he just comes back to get shot in the face anyways. I don't know why he thought I was in that corner, but I don't know if I don't even know if you can call that bait either, but that's definitely a position where a lot of people like to hide, and he got me with smoke. Now, the best part about that was, it's not just the fact that he got me with smoke. It turns out that he was actually using the explosive damage upgrade on his smoke. Yeah, like, what? I didn't get the reasoning there. But here is part two, okay? You know, previously I was using that little bit of the hill or like a little bit of the cliff as the perfect lurk spot. This is an even better lurk spot. And I say that not only because you're an assault player and you literally can lob grenades all day long. All day long. All day long. Look at this. Okay. Yes, okay, it's not cover, it's concealment. That's something that you should definitely realize about all the buildings in Val. It's debated. I still don't understand if it's Valparaiso, Valparaiso, or I always called it Valparaiso. But yet again, none of this cover is actual cover. It's just concealment, as in it will not block the bullets that are coming towards you. And that guy got Wesley sniped, and it just happens every single time. Like, if you lob enough grenades at an MCOM, it's eventually going to go down, simply because it gives enough room for your teammates to proceed forward. And it's just, okay, there's a few times where it's like I throw at least a string of like 4 or 5. Second Wesley snipes. It's so silly how effective that is. But it just teaches, I don't want to say like operant or classical conditioning from like a psychological perspective, but it pushes the team back to the point where your teammates have an easy arm. Yet again. I think this is the only thing that is really not able to be penetrated, is that gigantic tin roof that is somehow made of titanium. Okay, you can penetrate every little wood board, every wood piece of everything, yet, oh, that little tin thing? Yeah, that's pretty much bulletproof. That guy, I don't know why he was even in that position. But later on, okay, that guy shoots me directly in the face, and I just get one shot. It's pretty embarrassing, because I do it to him, and then he turns around and does it exactly straight back to me. And yet again, my strategy works quite well, too, because if an MCOM is armed and you throw enough grenades at it and you have a good view of their spawn, that's another thing that I don't really like about this third base, is that I guess it works both ways in that, okay, once you lose all the cover, as in all of this plywood and all of this random bundles of wood, all these shacks are gone, then not only does the defending team not have any kind of cover once they come out of their spawn, but it's just the attacking team has nothing to move up with. They're just, Okay, you've got the cover of a tank. And okay, I proceed under the little deck here. And then I see the... Come here, bush monster. Don't run away from me. Skadoosh. Oh, I was totally going to take a sandwich, but I just decided, you know what? I think there's a better plan of action here. And I think that definitely includes him not turning around. I totally thought he was going to turn around and just no-scope me in the face. And I said, not a good idea. That's one of those ones where you just go, no. I'm just not going to take my chances. I'm not going to take my chances in that. And somehow this bush monster killed both Steves here. You can't run away from me. That's not the way this works. But like I said, it's not something that you want to take a chance with. Oftentimes, if you think that bush monster is even semi-competent with his assault rifle or his sniper rifle, he could be like the Bruce Lee of no-scopes. Don't do that. Like, don't take your chances if you know that he's even semi-competent. And yes, the spotting feature is so dandy. Even though that look, that guy's probably through like 3 pieces of plywood, still got him. And it's so simple. If you keep this tank away from C4, oftentimes you have enough engineers that you can repair it. And that guy went flying in a rather awkward fashion. But it just turns into this impenetrable fortress that you just destroy everybody with. Because it's not like Battlefield 3 where, oh, this secondary gunner, yeah, that's good for, I don't know, maybe taking out a quarter of somebody's health. You're not going to kill anybody with it. It's like using smoke, except smoke that's not lethal. It just doesn't work very well in Battlefield 3. In here, in Bad Company 2, this thing destroys everybody. Not only is it laser beam accurate, but it also does a ton of damage, and it doesn't overheat very quickly. So yes, it is extremely valuable to possess a good gunner in one of these tanks. I'm not implying that I'm a good gunner by any means, but I can easily say that this thing can work wonders for you, especially when used correctly and just kept away from C4. There was some Carl that was like trying to drill the back of the tank or not. I don't know what he was doing, but he got shot in the face by one of our other recons. And this final base, it's always so frustrating. And it's never the AM comm, it's always the BM comm. It is always the BM comm, and this final base turns out to be a nail biter, which is, I don't know if I particularly agreed with the ending, because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, that was so close, just come on, man. Come on, sign a treaty, baby. It was almost as frustrating how close it was. And yes, even if you're silhouetted against the mountains in these sort of the shadows, if you will, or the cliffs, if you will, still, if you fire enough bullets with this thing, that's almost my philosophy with the entire Bradley. It's just, you don't need to be more accurate, you just need to fire more bullets. And that's all it really is, just spraying in a general direction of the enemy. And you will pick up kills all day. And yes, I always go for the AM comm first because B is always... I think to myself, okay, B is hard to get because it's so close to the spawn, but if you don't get A first, everybody lurks in that building and it just turns into everybody poking their head out of a window and killing somebody. So this first guy, oh baby, right in your face, Mr. Bush Monster, and his friend came over. So I just said, you know, I don't recognize this dude. Oh man, that's the second one right in the face. And look what happens. Look what ends up happening. I try to go up the stairs, really, why is that guy not already dead? A guy in the heavy MG, and oh, just a few seconds later, he happens to get sniped, but I never ever think that those people, or those guys in the mounted MGs are ever able to get kills. Okay, so I get 2 guys in the stairs, and then the Arizona Ranger with the big iron on his hip. I think I got the headshot, too. I don't know why I fired a second shot. I should have been excuse me, I should have been like one of those guys that just, you know, those guys that are so pro, they don't even fire a second shot because they're so sure of themselves. And, oh my goodness, right in his face. And oh man, the Arizona Ranger, he one-shot me with the Rex. That's what I was referring to earlier. I did not think that was going to happen. I didn't think he was capable of doing that. I don't even know if that was a lucky shot or not. But yes, I am not one of those optic... smoke weed every day 420 XXX dark scopes type players where I have the accuracy with a sniper rifle or a certain one-shot kill machine. I can't do the cool thing of, oh, I fired 1 bullet, 1 kill. I automatically knew I was gonna get the headshot. Didn't even have to fire a second shot. I'm that confident in my abilities. That's not the way it works. It's like I fired like 6 shots. I hit 1.5, sort of. I clipped his leg, so probably gonna have to reload and then try again. That's essentially a synopsis of how it usually goes with me and the Rex. And yes, at this point in time, I said to myself, although we did arm B, I thought it was a good idea to approach it from the backside. Essentially, I thought if we can take over their spawn through a flank, then we will probably have a lot easier time defending it, because that was essentially our issue. Was we didn't have a hard time arming it because it was like arm after arm after arm, and we just, oh man, right in the backside. And I get the recon as well. I thought he was already dead. He needed a few more cleanup shots. And I thought this would be totally beneficial, because if you can take the back of the spawn, like if you can shut down the essential stream of enemies after they come into the game, then you can do so much damage to the MCOM. And you can also make sure that it's basically defended the next time that it's set. And okay, the 40 mil is a little bit optimistic there. Arizona Ranger, and I didn't quite get the second guy. I end up getting hit with a 40 mil grenade. I think that was the explosive upgrade that killed me. And I was John Bush Monster, but I essentially said at this point in time, I've had enough. I have to go medic because we're so low on tickets. We got 4 tickets left. So I said, okay, I think I can take on a few guys with the MG36. There's one, I believe, okay, I got a second guy, and I think do I end up getting a third guy? I think it's something around 3, and then I moved directly for the MCOM because I said, you know what, even if I do die, we're going to lose anyways because we only have 3 tickets, 3 tickets left. So I pick that up, and I get it's so close, though, for real, though. Okay, so I pick up the first guy on the way to the MCOM. I think that guy's head, you know what it looks like when they're crouching and they're defusing? It looks like their head is right. It's almost like they're eating off of a plate on the MCOM. I thought that guy was doing it. I got a second guy. Another bush monster's going to come around. I'm like, team, you have one job. Just don't die. Oh, I get the bush monster, but look. Okay, listen. Oh, man. So you hear it, like you hear him say, all right, or you hear him say, yeah, like we got the MCOM, and then immediately afterwards he's like, oh, just kidding, I guess we lost the game. So I guess that's technically a loss, but that's like, come on. The loss, or, okay, I want to say it this way. Someone dying probably occurred like a microsecond before that thing exploded. That's just silly. That's just silly. But I guess this is technically a loss that I couldn't carry any harder. But I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I want to thank you guys for putting up with my sickness. I know I'm a little bit off today because I have that stomach virus that makes you vomit. It's like Comet. It's terrible. And okay. I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you guys on Friday. Auf Wiedersehen und bis bald und later.